This is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. So let's get into it. Let's talk about whether you should save for an emergency or whether you should pay down debt and the order that you should do it in. And this is the nitty-gritty of personal finance, especially if you're an average income earner in America. This is what you deal with on a day-to-day basis, making these decisions. And the classic example of this is whether you should buy that $5 Starbucks coffee. It's something that you enjoy, gives you a little bit of energy in the morning, or whether you should make your own cup of coffee and invest that $5 in index funds or to pay down debt. And this is what I like to talk about. This is what I like doing. It's what I'm passionate about. And I want to help you guys make the best, most educated decisions that you can when it comes to this. So if you want my honest opinion on whether you should pay down debt or save for an emergency, my answer is going to be that conventional wisdom is almost always wrong. And what I mean by that is that conventional wisdom is the easiest way to be average. And we don't want to be average on this channel. We try our best to live the lifestyle that we want to and get our freedom. And the only way to do that is to think outside the box. Because if we're doing everything that everyone else is doing, then it wouldn't be worth attaining. So in my video, what I want to do is I want to help you guys decide if whether you want to be above average or if you are comfortable staying with being average. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge anybody for wanting to live a life of comfort. That is necessary in the ecosystem that we live. We need people to work at Starbucks and all those things, but there are some people who are driven to live outside of society norms. And if that is the case for you, then we have to think that conventional wisdom is incorrect. My rule of thumb is that if you are making less than 5K a month, then you shouldn't be doing any of these options. You shouldn't be saving for an emergency or paying down debt, right? Saving for an emergency is kind of an interesting thing to talk about in the first place because you are basically preparing for something bad to happen in your life. And again, if you are someone who wants to live outside of conventional thinking, we don't prepare for bad things to happen. We expect to win. And that is the way that we are focused when it comes to what we should allocate our money to. So if you are making less than 5K per month, what you want to focus on is covering lifestyle expenses. And then everything else goes to 10x income, right? As we talked about, the people who are in the top 1% don't have these problems because they're making so much money that even if they made a mistake, even if they were to travel across the country and stay there for a couple of days, they still have enough money to cover their lifestyle. And that's where we want to get to. So even if you have to go into the red for a little bit, even if you have to go into some debt, in order to get you to that 5K number before we decide whether we should do this stuff, that's what you need to do. And I know some of you are going to be like, wait, did you just say that you should get into debt in order to increase your income? That's crazy. And the answer that I like to tell people is that for some reason in America, we believe it's okay to give an 18-year-old a loan, right? Unsecured loan to pay for college at however, whatever the number is nowadays. I haven't been to college in a while, but let's say that 4 years at 20,000, right? So before they even have job experience or anything like that, they are already $80,000 in debt. And for some reason, this is okay, but to say that you need to go into the red for a little bit in order to 10x your income is a crazy concept. So I don't know. Again, we don't think the same way everyone else does. We are people who think outside of conventional wisdom. So we are not focused on concerning ourselves with going into the red to 10x our income, right? So then there's levels to this, right? So once we 10x, we get our income all the way up to 5K, right? Then should you save up for an emergency or should you pay down debt? And the way that I look at this is that if you were to put money into a saving account right? On average, I know that there are high yielding saving accounts that give you a little bit more nowadays. So again, right, the numbers might make more sense to do it nowadays, but usually if you put it in a major bank, it gives you 0.05%. If you were to put it in a high yielding savings account, you could probably get, I don't know, maybe 2% on your money, which is it's decent. It's not bad. But when you look at paying down debt, you have compounding interest, right, on credit cards that can go all the way up to 24%. So, in my opinion, it would make more sense to throw all of our excess cash into paying down debt. If it's at this higher rate, compounding every single day, right? With this money, you're just having it sit there waiting for something bad to happen. When instead we can be proactive, we can pay down our debt, and we can free ourselves from the burden and the stress of accumulating reverse compound interest, right? So we get farther and farther behind the more debt we get into. So if you're making above 5K, I would focus on paying down debt. And again, on this channel, we talk about velocity banking as the quickest way to pay down debt. And then once you pay down your debt, you can focus on saving for an emergency if you choose to. For me, I would rather invest that money into a recurring income vehicle or even a savings asset like a life insurance policy, which you can borrow against and make that your own bank. So again, the decision making process is very easy when it comes to whether you should save for an emergency or pay down debt. If you're making less than 5K a month, then you shouldn't even be concerned about this because you're already broke, right? So if you're broke, then what's the difference between being a little broke and being more broke? So go into the red, increase your income, get it all the way up to 5K. And then once you do that, then pay down debt if you have any. And then once you're debt free, we throw that into an investment vehicle that pays us recurring revenue so we can remove ourselves from the need to exchange our time for value, and now we have money working for us, and then we have the option to continue to work if we choose to, or we can focus on passion projects or giving back to the community and being of service to other people. So that is the way that I look at this. So again, conventional wisdom is almost always wrong. Let's not focus on saving for an emergency or paying down debt until we hit this specific number. Then once we do this, we focus on paying off debt as quickly as possible so we can become stress-free, we can have peace of mind, and then we can build our freedom. And that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have more like this in the future, and I will talk to you soon. Have an amazing and blessed day.